Hey guys, this is Pete Dodd again from foryourvitahype.com. I am showing off a little bit of Hustle Kings here. Primarily the mode where it's an asynchronous mode where you take your shots and then you send a file, or maybe not even necessarily the file, but you send the invitation to the person you're playing against, and then they take their shots, and you sort of go back and forth like that. It's a type of asynchronous play I hope to see more of. It's not done perfectly. As you see here, this is the list of games that I have going currently. But what I tend to do, and I'll explain the other ways later, but what I tend to do to get into each game is I actually go from group messaging, as you see me opening here. I don't know why. I got an error once using the in-game way of loading, and I haven't doing it this way, so I do it this way. The in-game way is probably fine. This is probably just a mental block in my head, but as you see, I have the message from Mick there, from Player One Podcast, which you should check out if you haven't heard it. And then you just click it, and it just loads straight into the game. As you saw, I had the game loaded prior, but you don't have to. You don't even have to have the game loaded. You can just go to messaging when you get a message in saying it's your turn, click that, and it will load the game up and it will bring you right to it. This is the start of the game. Mick had accepted my challenge and allowed me to break. And excuse that light. I know that light shines on the screen, and I was dumb enough to not turn it off. I do think I start to tilt it soon, so it doesn't show up as much. But here's me lining up my shot. As you see, that it's a mixture. You can do it all touch, I think, or all buttons. I use a mixture of both. I use the stick and whatnot to aim the shot, but I take the shot, as you can see right there, by doing that. Was not a wonderful break. My accuracy was only 85%. If you saw that, you could see when I was following through, I came up a little crooked. I believe you can shoot with the right stick if that doesn't look fun. After your turn's done, you send the turn to someone else, and you can write a little message. So I wrote, "Gah!" because that's how I felt after that. So that sends it off to Mick, and now it's his turn, and he'll get that message, and he plays it whenever he has a chance. So then I just back out. I go back to my messages, and I go to the next one, because I tend to have a bunch of these going, because obviously they're quick. And you can see there that Josh and I have Josh Nacero from Critical Strike, another great podcast. We are always writing LOL oops, as he wrote there. And you'll see why in a second, because it will show you the prior shots that someone took. You can watch the whole game, too, I believe, up until that point, but I've never actually tried that. I always just watch from, the two shots, or however many shots that the person took coming in. And it always zooms in like this. I let this run for a second just so you can see the graphics. The graphics in this game are amazing. And it always starts off with it like that, but then when you hit the continue button, it shows from where the table is. So Josh sank his first shot. And his second shot, that was intense, but I think he got one in there. And here's his third shot. I guess that would be the LOL oops. Cushion not hit, penalty on him, so I get to basically place the ball anywhere. I decided to go for the ball stuck to the bumper over there, because that's a pretty hard shot to make in from any other angle than that. I'm flipping through the cameras trying to find the right one, and here I go, and now I'm going to aim it. Get that line in there. I hit the chalk, because if you don't chalk your cue every couple shots, your accuracy goes down. It's a weird touch. I don't necessarily love it, but I don't hate it. And then, look at that magic. So, that was my one shot against Nacero from Critical Strike. And then I wrote LOL because it was funny. How do you even scratch that far away? I guess you do it by using far too much power. So there's 2 games down, and now do I go into a third one? Yeah, I believe I do. I'm recording this after the fact, if you don't know. Here is my friend Kura-chan. He is an Aussie. Oh, okay, so yeah, I just wanted to see what the next game up was for me. And this is me trying to figure out how to do it in-game again, because I've always just used the messaging system since the first day. And if you do that, you can only resend or forfeit. And then I make the realization in the second that, yeah, I tried double-clicking. Like you double-click a touchscreen. I don't know. But then, yeah, so then I saw that thing up top. And that has the messages in there, just like the other thing. So you don't have to go out. This is probably how most people do it. They click that, and then it just loads right in. So if you're a normal person, this is probably how you get in and out of your games. So let's see how the Aussie did. I bet you he was all, "Good day, mate," and it's like, "This is a knife." Other, there's probably a kangaroo on the table. Oh, he broke. I guess we were at the beginning of the game, and he didn't get anything. So that probably set me up. I hope I make at least one here without scratching. That looks like a good one. It's nice if you jack up the power, which may have been off screen. I jacked up the power just so I could see where the ball would go, but obviously I don't want to hit it at full power, so then I push the power back down. And then I take my swing, or it's not a swing, but and I made a ball in without scratching. Good day. And this is, if you're American, this may seem confusing to you. I don't remember what it's called. It's like yellow ball or red ball or something. It's the same exact thing as US 8-ball, except for it's yellow versus red instead of solids versus stripes. And well, their scratching rules are slightly different. Their scratching rules are actually the scratching rules I've always played with whenever I played pool in bars and whatnot. But in this game, the US 8-ball scratching rules are you can put the ball wherever you want on the table. So let's see if I make another shot here. And oh, heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. And then you don't have to send a message, by the way. I just choose to. I went the Homer Simpson route, evidently, because that's not played out at all. And yeah, so coming up next, I show how you create a game. One complaint I would make is that you can only play this type of game against people on your friends list. I love asynchronous game types like this. I play a game called Hero Academy, which you can actually see a video for on the site on iOS. You can play against random people in that, and at the peak of my enjoyment of that game, I had like 20 random games going because, like pool, each turn only took like 30 seconds. So I would just pop through each game like 2 or 3 times a day, and at the end of the day I had like an hour of play time, but I played a ton of games and it was fun. This you could only play against people on your friends list in this mode, so it requires you to have friends who own the game. I am hoping that this video in part, well, see, here's me setting the options too. I put it on casual and long because I found somebody new to play. Well, actually, as I was just yammering on, if you saw me go back out to the live area, that was to look at the live area to see if there's anybody new on my friends list who was playing the game. I noticed that that Nervebag had recently bought it, so I decided to start a game with him. And that's why I went out to check it. This is me going through. If somebody doesn't play a move for a while, which Nicaro has not played his move in a long time, you can resend the move, so it's a new message. I've resent it to him like 5 times. I think he just doesn't want to play. So he's going to tell me to stop at some point. So yeah, this is Hustle Kings. It's awesome. The only negative is what I'm showing right now. The avatars are the ugliest freaking things. The people who drew those should feel terrible about themselves. But otherwise, the game plays great. It looks great. You know, this mode's cool. I wish it loaded a little bit quicker, but it's cool. And yeah, enjoy.